Today, we are tackling an incredibly tough but really important topic: how to get through the first 90 days after a betrayal. This period is often chaotic and so painful, but how you handle it can truly set the stage for everything that comes next. So, let's dive in. So, right off the bat, you're probably wondering, why this time frame? Why are these first 90 days so incredibly critical? Well, it's because the choices made right here, in the middle of the storm, can either pave the way for genuine healing, or, sadly, they can create even deeper trauma.
And this quote from our source material just says it all, doesn't it? The point of these first 90 days isn't to magically fix everything. Not at all. It's about getting to a place where hope starts to feel believable again, where the idea of real healing feels possible, not just like some positive platitude you're trying to force yourself to believe.
Okay, so let's start at ground zero, with that immediate, seismic shock that comes with betrayal. This first section is all about understanding what's happening to you and normalizing the chaos, because what you're feeling is real. This right here, this is the question that's probably screaming in your head. The feelings can be so intense, so all-consuming, that it is just so easy to think, this is it. We're broken. I'm broken. There's no coming back from this.
But here's a game-changing perspective shift. What feels like total dysfunction, what feels like you're losing your mind, is very often just your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's responding to a very real danger. It's not a sign that you're broken, it's a sign your internal alarm system is working perfectly.
And there's a name for this. It's called betrayal trauma. And let's be crystal clear, this is a legitimate biological event. Your brain's alarm center, the amygdala, is fired up, and it completely hijacks the rational thinking part of your brain. That's why logical thought can feel absolutely impossible. So I want to say this again. What you are feeling is not an overreaction.
So what does that feel like in your day-to-day life? Well, it can look like any of these things. Forgetting simple things. Swinging from intense anger to total numbness in a matter of minutes. Lying awake all night. And for many, feeling completely cut off from God or any sense of spiritual connection. If any of this sounds familiar, please know you are not crazy and you are not alone.
So, if we know this is a trauma response, what's the first move? What's the strategy? Well, it all boils down to one simple non-negotiable principle for these first 3 months. Before anything else can happen, this has to be the top priority.
And here it is. Stabilization comes before restoration. The goal right now is not to fix the marriage. It's not to restore what was lost. The immediate goal is to stop the bleeding. It's to create some semblance of stability in the middle of a hurricane.
And building right on top of that is this next layer. Safety has to come before intimacy. And we're talking about all kinds of safety: emotional, physical, even spiritual safety. Any attempt to rush back to closeness before a foundation of safety is reestablished is just going to create more damage.
And finally, here's the bedrock for everything else. Truth must come before trust. Trust is not a switch you can just flip back on. It can't be demanded. It has to be rebuilt, brick by brick, on a foundation of consistent, demonstrated, and complete truth over a long period of time. Okay, so this all sounds good in theory, right? But what does it actually look like day to day? Let's get practical and talk about some rules of the road, some clear guardrails to help you create structure when everything feels like chaos. This is probably the most important mental shift you can make. Stop asking, why can't I just forgive and move on? That question is usually loaded with shame, and it just adds another layer of trauma. Instead, start asking a much more compassionate and, frankly, more useful question. What does my body need to feel safe right now? This brings you out of your head and into the physical reality of what your nervous system is going through.
And to create that safety, here are some essential boundaries for this initial period. No marathon interrogation sessions. They just re-traumatize everyone. For the one who betrayed, no trickle truth. That's when the facts come out in agonizing little drips and drabs. No forcing forgiveness. No processing every single feeling 24/7. And crucially, no huge, life-altering decisions about the marriage. The goal here is just to create some breathing room.
All right, we absolutely have to talk about the kids, because whether we want to admit it or not, they feel the emotional weather in the home. They're affected by the tension and the pain, even if they have no idea what's actually going on.
So here's the core principle. Protecting your kids isn't about pretending everything is fine.
That doesn't work. It's about protecting them from the graphic, adult details. What they need is emotional truth, an acknowledgement that yes, things are hard right now, paired with a massive dose of reassurance that they are safe, they are loved, and the adults are working on it.
And this table offers some fantastic practical scripts. You can see the pattern, right? With little kids, it's super simple. Mom and dad are working through something hard. As they get older, you can introduce a concept like a break in trust. But look at the teen category. The key is they should never ever be put in the role of a confidant, a friend, or an ally. They need to be allowed to just be the kid.
And at the end of the day, this is what it all comes down to. The single most important, most powerful gift you can give your children in this season is your own regulated nervous system. Your calm is their anchor. Your stability is their safe harbor in a very confusing storm.
Okay, as we start to land the plane here, let's talk about hope. Let's redefine what progress and success even look like in these first 90 days, because I promise you, it's probably not what you think.
First things first, you have to let go of the idea that healing is some nice, neat, upward journey. It's just not. It's messy. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You will have good days and you will have awful days. And when a wave of pain hits or you have a major setback, it does not mean you're failing. It is a normal, expected part of the process.
In fact, the path of healing often looks a lot more like this. You have a huge wave of pain, and then maybe a small, fleeting moment of connection or hope. And that might be followed immediately by another setback. But then, maybe you get a few days or even a whole week of feeling relatively stable. Knowing this is the rhythm can keep you from giving up when things get hard again.
So let's just recap. For these first 90 days, this is your entire focus. On the left, safety, stabilization, educating yourself about what's happening, and just cultivating a tiny seed of realistic hope. And on the right, this is the stuff you give yourself permission to postpone. The massive job of rebuilding trust, sexual intimacy, quick forgiveness, and any final decisions. You can put all of that on a shelf for now.
And I really want to leave you with this final thought. What if you changed the way you measure success? What if you threw out the overwhelming question, are we better yet? And instead, just asked this, are we safer than we were last week? That's a question you can actually answer. It's manageable, it's hopeful, and it's a truly powerful way to move forward, 1 week at a time.